Hey you guys, so it's time for another episode of Clapback, okay? I want to go ahead and shout out Fatima Kasim4. So she wanted me to talk about the whole Donald Trump situation. So unless you've been living under a rock, I know you guys have all heard about all the drama that's going on in all these Donald Trump rallies. The other day in Chicago, thousands of people came out to basically interrupt and stop Donald Trump's speech in Chicago. It ended up being a big melee. Folks were fighting. It was insane. Then the other day he had a rally in Kansas City. The police got involved and started pepper spraying protesters. So this was all over the news as well.
What the fuck? Oh my God.
Come on, what the fuck? What the fuck?
So this was all over the news as well. So a lot of people were just really upset about the entire situation. But now Donald Trump is clapping back and he's saying that he wants all these protesters arrested. If people interrupt him anymore, jump a fence, attack him, do anything, he wants to start pressing charges and start arresting these people. So I want you guys to go ahead and check out these news clips of Donald Trump talking about the entire situation. Check this out and I'm gonna come back with the rest of my commentary.
Isn't it great to be at a Trump rally, really? Right? It's more fun.
I can't breathe, man. I can't breathe.
This is becoming violent. There is pushing and shoving going on inside this arena. People are throwing objects.
Do you believe that you've done anything to create a tone where this kind of violence would be encouraged?
I hope not. I truly hope not. I mean, I see it. There is some anger. There's also great love for the country. It's a beautiful thing in many respects, but I certainly do not condone that at all, Jake.
For the press, the officers are being very gentle. See, nowadays we have to say that, right? We have to be politically correct. Oh, please don't hurt them. They're allowed to get up and interrupt us horribly, and we have to be very, very gentle and very gentle. They can swing, they can hit people, but if we hit them back, it's a terrible, terrible thing. I'd rather be too strong than too weak, okay? Go home and get a job. Go home, get a job. These are not the people that made our country great. These are the people that are destroying our country.
Flashed in Chicago last night. Among those in the crowd last night were people holding Bernie Sanders signs, and some demonstrators could be heard chanting the senator's name. Last hour, Sanders was asked if his supporters incited some of the violence in Chicago, and this is what he said.
Well, I don't think our supporters are inciting. What our supporters are doing is responding to a candidate who has, in fact, in many ways, encouraged violence. When he talks about, things I wish we were in the old days when you could punch somebody in the head, what do you think that says to his supporters? And what happened the other day when some young man was being escorted out and he was sucker punched? And we have seen other incidents. So the issue now is that Donald Trump has got to be loud and clear and tell his supporters that violence at rallies is not what America is about, and to end it.
Thank you for the warning. I was ready for him, but it's much easier if the cops do it. Don't we agree? Huh? What a great job. What a great job.
Over the months, some of the more disturbing and violent things that have happened to people who have had the nerve to oppose Donald Trump in person at his public rallies.
In case you see the security guys, we have wonderful security guys. They said, Mr. Trump, there may be somebody with tomatoes in the audience. So if you see somebody getting ready to throw a tomato, knock the crap out of them, would you? Seriously. I will pay for the legal fees, I promise. He can't. They send their product. Oh, bye-bye. Do you know what they used to do to guys like that when they were in a place like this? They'd be carried out on a stretcher, folks. He's walking out like big high fives, smiling, laughing, like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you. Get out! You know, in the old days, which isn't so long ago, when we were less politically correct, that kind of stuff wouldn't happen.
Rally interrupted by protesters. This time in Kansas City, there were roughly 30 to 40 demonstrators who were led out of this theater during the course of these remarks from Donald Trump. But unlike the situation in Chicago, which exploded into a violent melee, this was a largely peaceful outbreak of demonstrations. But Donald Trump was showing frustration with these protesters throughout the night. At one point, he said he's going to start pressing charges against these protesters to make them stop. Here's what he had to say.
I hope these guys get thrown into a jail. They'll never do it again. It'll destroy their record. They'll have to explain to mom and dad why they have a police record and why they can't get a job. And you know what? I'm going to start pressing charges against all these people. Okay? And then we won't have a problem. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to ruin somebody's life. They're probably good kids. You know, they're probably good kids. I don't want to ruin people's lives. But the only way we're going to stop this craziness is if we press charges.
Outside this rally, Kansas City police arrested a number of demonstrators, even using pepper spray on some of them. Meanwhile, during his remarks, Trump defended his decision to cancel his rally in Chicago, saying it was the right decision to make. He also praised Secret Service agents for protecting him from a protester earlier in the day who had jumped a barricade. Jim Acosta, CNN.
All right, so you guys just saw that news clip. And one thing I find funny is that there were so many people of different races at these Donald Trump rallies and who were protesting. But for some reason, the news has decided to spin it and make it seem like it was just black people down there. Like, you know, those black people are just being violent. And there they go again, starting shit with these innocent Donald Trump people. But it was a lot of people there of different races. At the end of the day, I hope that a lot of these people who are out there protesting and fighting and, you know, being really upset, I really hope they take all that energy and they work their way to the polls. Because if not, Donald Trump could actually win. And that's a scary thing. Because what I'm finding now is like a lot of people are so pissed off about Donald Trump's freedom of speech being interrupted by these protesters that it may incite people to go out and go vote for Donald Trump just to spite the people protesting him. I hope these protesters are really planning to go vote for Bernie Sanders and not just showing up at Donald Trump rallies just to cause chaos, because again, there might be a backlash effect where they're causing people to sympathize with Donald Trump as opposed to not supporting him altogether. You know, so the whole situation to me is just insane. I do feel like Donald Trump helped to create this atmosphere. You know, I understand that now he's blaming Bernie Sanders and he's saying that it's a bunch of Bernie Sanders supporters and Black Lives Matter people that are, you know, behind the attacks and behind, you know, disrupting his rallies. But Donald Trump created this environment by saying that people should be punching people and everything else. So he kind of, you know, created this atmosphere. So now he can't get upset if folks are showing up at his rallies ready to fight and everything else. So the whole situation to me is just crazy. All I can do is just sit back and just watch everything unfold. So anyways, let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. Go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this entire situation concerning Donald Trump and the protesters that are protesting at his rallies around the country. Do you feel like Donald Trump brought this on himself? Do you feel like this is Bernie Sanders' fault? And then how do you feel about the protesters in general? Do you feel like it's their right to be there to protest his rally? Or do you feel like they're stepping out of bounds and it's not okay? And if a bunch of Donald Trump people went to Bernie Sanders rallies and did the same thing, it would be an issue. And then why do you think it's gotten so hostile? Because in the years of, you know, presidential elections and rallies and speeches, we've never seen this much chaos. We've never seen this much commotion. We've never seen this much drama. Do you feel like all this drama is coming from Donald Trump and the things that he says at his rallies? So let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. Go ahead and leave a comment. All right, deuces. Hey you guys, it's your girl T. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share my videos. You can also visit Lovelyti.com to purchase any merchandise. Also, don't forget to click the boxes down below to watch any of my previous videos. Talk to y'all later. Deuces.